Kazakhstan established and developed relationships with more than 140 countries worldwide. The country is a member of over 60 international organizations. Kazakhstan is an open and friendly partner, the initiator of the various integration processes in the world community, always ready to create the conditions for global dialogue. Since September 2013, when the President of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Xi Jinping, initiated the creation of the economic belt of the Silk Road, Kazakhstan and China are actively cooperating in the development of the transport network as part of a large-scale project. With the phased implementation of this project, the Republic of Kazakhstan has access to large logistics centers throughout the continent, as well as access to sea routes, which is especially important in the expansion of the geography of export supplies of Kazakhstani goods. The Transcontinental Bridge, which is already active today, connecting not only Europe and Asia, but other countries via sea routes, starts from the port of the Chinese city of Ggn, with a small population by the Chinese standards, only 4.4 million people. However, this is one of the 14 coastal cities that actively develops modern industry, foreign trade and tourism. In the port of Ggn, on the coast of the Yellow Sea, there is a joint Kazakh-Chinese terminal. 49% of the enterprise belongs to the Kazakh side, and a controlling stake of 51% to the management company of the port. The cost of the first phase of the project was 606 million yuan. To date, the terminal is one of the largest projects of Kazakhstan abroad, which is designed in the program of industrial development of Kazakhstan, Joly. From here, container trains go both to Central Asia and back. For comparison, before Ggn to Almaty, cargoes went for 12 to 14 days, but now with the implementation of the program of the economic belt, it takes only 6 days, which is very beneficial for shippers and for logistics companies. 2 train sets weekly travel to Central Asia.
过境或者出口去哈萨克斯坦的
Export to Kazakhstan from here is basically auto parts, electronic equipment, medical devices and household goods. The main products that come from Kazakhstan are iron ore, wheat and ferroalloys. In the future, we already plan to import from Kazakhstan processed flour products, juices, honey, ice cream and other products to the Chinese market and further transit through our country to Vietnam. And in the future, they can be sent to Malaysia, Indonesia and Thailand. Through this transit corridor in the future, we plan to adjust the import of wheat so that there is real profit and this product become competitive. To date, the terminal has processed containerized cargo from Kazakhstan with a total weight of 2,300,000 tons, which is 110,000 containers in a 20-foot equivalent. The Chinese side expects to increase by the end of the year these indicators to 5 million tons of cargo and 250,000 containers. By the way, the volume of cargo traffic from Kazakhstan through this transport corridor can be increased up to 500,000 tons and reach up to 1 million.
在霍尔果斯东大门经济特区
In the Ggn port in the future, storage of grain silo for export to other countries is planned, for which a second phase of construction will be launched, the cost of which will be about 400 million yuan. The expansion of the project is planned in case the export of wheat from Kazakhstan increases. In this case, we'll be ready to handle such volume of cargo. The first stage of the transport corridor was launched in 2014. During the active work of the terminal, many difficulties were taken care of.
我知道 如果哈国的小麦过境中国
We thought how to make the project profitable. There was support from the port, all services and local government. And we, starting with traditional operations, inspection of cargo, customs, bonded storage, have overcome all boundaries. Since the launch, Karim Masimov, who was at that time the Prime Minister of Kazakhstan, was weekly reported on the development of a joint terminal. Kazakhstan Temirjoly also reported weekly to Nursultan Nazarbayev on the progress of this project.
代理共同应该签署的
On May 15 of this year, at the International Forum in Beijing, One Belt, One Road. A tripartite agreement was signed between the national company Kazakhstan Timur Joly, the managing company of the port Lianyuan, and the largest international container operator on investing in the dry port project of the Special Economic Zone Gorgos Eastern Gate. According to representatives of the Chinese side, now a large logistics company will send sea containers by land route according to Lianyuan Central Asia. At the same time, the negotiations were difficult and lasted a year and a half. During this time, both sides met 24 times. The terminal complex on the coast of the Yellow Sea has a strategically important role and serves as a staging post in the new Eurasian Continental Bridge. It is here that the land and sea Silk Road intersect, and the expansion of the Transcontinental Complex promises the opening of new opportunities.
那这些呢，都将为整个中亚这些国家。
This is the future international logistics zone of the SCO countries. There will be 3 zones here, among which it is planned to launch a customs-bonded zone and the shopping center for large cargoes. At the moment, foreign companies are showing increasing interest, so Japan and South Korea have already been here with delegations. We hope that other countries will also show interest in our logistics project.
为一体的一个物流园区。
Special attention should be paid to the current cargo handling system, which allows you to remotely track all operations within the terminal, as well as along the trajectory of the goods. Representatives of the Chinese side noted that the program is planned to be transferred to Kazakhstan, which will greatly facilitate the work process. Another important area on the eastern coast of the Middle Kingdom is the Ggn Province, with an administrative center in Hangzhou. As the Chinese proverb says, heaven is heaven and on earth Hangzhou is Suzhou. These are 2 developed cities, rich in historical attractions and beautiful places for recreation. However, in economic terms, Ggn Province is interesting for 2 cities. The first is the dry port of Yiwu, and the second is the largest port of Ningbo. The dry port is currently being completed, but already today there are 8 routes operating here. The capacity of the first phase, launched since 2014, is 400,000 standard containers per year. Cargoes from here transit to the countries of Central Asia, Iran, Afghanistan, Russia, Belarus, Latvia, and reach Spain and Great Britain.
因为我们以前开的应该就是经常是到哈萨克。
Before we began to engage in international rail transport, we worked inside China. However, after the launch of the new Silk Road, we began to send cargo through Asia to Europe. At the moment, we send 2 trains from Yiwu every week. Back to us, the cargo is returned in 1 train. Each such train contains up to 100 standard containers. Kazakhstan in this chain has an important role, because this is the first point of the new road.
客户认知跟接受程度越来越高了。
This highway is 13,000 kilometers long.
一星欧应该是从14年10月18号开始首开到马德里啊。
In comparison with other railways, we have several advantages. First, it's time. Previously, we needed 21 days, now only 18 days. We have the lowest price of transportations. After we have adjusted the process, we managed to reduce it by 30%. We also have a constant flow of goods. However, it does not depend on such factors as seasonality.
也是今年在推，就是往那种双重去套，比如说重柜去能够把重货带过来。
Yiwu is connected by railway line with the Ningbo-Zhoushan seaport. This is one of the main ports of the East China Sea. Moreover, it is the largest port in China with the unique ability to receive ships with a displacement of more than 400,000 tons. Its depth is 15 meters. In total, there are 39 deep-water berths in the complex. Monthly, up to 300 container ships from around the world arrive here.
我们相信2017年在今年的这个
In 2016, the trade turnover between Ningbo and Kazakhstan totaled at $18 million. And despite the slight decrease in the current year, due to changes in the market conditions, we hope that the volume of trade between us will rise. Ningbo ranks 8th among all cities in China in terms of foreign trade. At the same time, the industrial base of our city is quite developed. It is the first city that develops within the framework of the state program Made in China until 2025.
所以我相信我们跟哈萨克斯坦贸易也会有增长。
Another important link in the logistics system of China is the port of Qingdao, which is already 120 years old. This is the 7th largest port in the world. More than 700 ports from 180 countries and regions have trade links with the seaside city. In 2016, the cargo turnover of the sea gate reached 500 million tons, exceeding all previous indicators, and the capacity exceeded 18 million standard containers. In the first half of this year, their number in the international transit from the port of Qingdao to Central Asia, including Kazakhstan, reached 9,168 units, which shows an increase in cargo turnover by 51% compared to the previous year. It is from here that textile products and cars from Japan and South Korea arrive to Kazakhstan. However, the uniqueness of the Chinese port is still in the country's only fully automated cargo transportation system. Smart automated system currently occupies a leading position at low cost and shortest delivery times. Our system meets all safety requirements. The risk of occupational injuries is minimized because people are not here when loading containers. They only remotely control the loading process. This system, the only one in Asia, was put into commercial operation in May of this year. It is estimated that energy efficiency from full automation of the loading process will be 70%, and economic efficiency will be increased by 30%. It is the 7th largest marina in the world. Its area is 72 square meters, and the coastline is about 36 kilometers. The climate here is very comfortable. In winter it is not cold, and in summer it is not hot. Among the shareholders of the pier are many large international trading companies. In Qingdao at the moment, there are direct airlines operating on 147 routes. This city on the shore of the Yellow Sea occupies the eastern part of Ggn Province. And despite the remoteness of the region from our country, Kazakhstani students go here for higher education. In our city, there are already more than 30 universities that hosted students from Kazakhstan, especially a few highly focused universities like our Chinese Oil University, where many Kazakh students are currently studying. In the future, we hope that their number will only grow. According to the representatives of the executive body of Qingdao, at present, they have created the basis for closer cooperation with the Kizloorda region, having signed a memorandum of cooperation. We signed a memorandum of cooperation. This laid a solid foundation for further cooperation. At present, the procedure for establishing official relations in the process, but I'm confident with the implementation of the One Belt, One Road strategy, we have good conditions for cooperation between local executive bodies in economy and culture. The population of Qingdao is more than 9 million residents. It is considered the average for China, but the region is developing very quickly. Within the city, there is a district or county called Zhuazhou, which is essentially a city within the city. It is here that the Qingdao Multimodal Transportation Control Center is located, which is connected to China's main railway lines, which affects the operational transit of goods into the interior of the continent. In June 2015, a train was launched from here to Kazakhstan. The length of the route is 8 days. which saves time and promotes active trade turnover between the countries and transit freight flows. Since the opening of the railway, up to now, about 22,000 containers have been shipped.
无论是在这个物流通道的这个组织上，还是商贸通道的这种打道上呢，应该是起到了非常好的效果。
Also in Qingdao, there is an industrial park of Eurasian economic and trade cooperation between China and the countries of Eurasia. At the moment, many bilateral investments are concentrated here. It is planned that within 5 years, as part of the One Way, One Road program, being a strategic sea hub, the industrial park will become the international platform for trade and all kinds of cooperation that already connects China not only with Europe and Asia, but also with Japan and South Korea. By the way, the indicators of transit goods from Qingdao through Gorgos, the western part of the large-scale transport route, this year have already reached 4,316 containers, which is 102% higher than last year. Gorgos is a village in the Almaty region, which is located on the Kazakh-Chinese border. It was here that the International Center for Cross-Border Cooperation was established as the unification of the China Program Economic Belt of the Silk Road and the Kazakhstan Program of Infrastructure Development Nurluzhol. The station began operating in November 2012. About 100 billion tenge was invested in its creation. From the moment of launch to the current period, the volume of cargo transportation was 2 million tons. With the development of the project One Belt, One Road in this territory, many countries began to create their own logistic capacities, which is why the volume of freight traffic is constantly growing. The Gorgos Complex consists of two parts that belong to two neighboring countries. The Chinese side occupies an area of 3.43 square kilometers and the Kazakh side 1.85 square kilometers. The total area is 528 hectares. This square has 6 shopping centers and more than 2,000 trade boutiques, all of which are very popular among citizens of both countries due to the duty-free trade system. At present, a 4-lane highway is being built according to Almaty Gorgos as part of an automobile corridor to Europe.
Отсюда проезжает в будущем, сейчас можно сказать, уже функционирует.
In the future, now it is possible to say that the road Western Europe, Western China will function here, and it turns out all departing cargoes will come to Kazakhstan, passing through our station, will go to the dry port.
Казахстан, проходя через нашу станцию, пойдут на сухой порт.
This is not all cooperation between the Chinese region and Kazakhstan. The plant is mainly engaged in the production of feed for animals and birds. We purchase grain from the northern regions of Kazakhstan. The wheat requirements are low. For example, the quality of the third grade suits us. We provide our domestic market mainly to the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. The volume of our production depends on demand and the seasonal factor. Last year, the price of 1 kilogram of feed was about 85 tenge. As the Chinese side notes, the quality of wheat completely satisfies their needs. Due to the peculiarities of the Kazakhstan climate, wheat is dry, and it can be imported until the fall season. Due to the peculiarities of the Kazakhstan climate, wheat is dry, and it can be imported until the fall season. Now the plant plans to launch the second line of production of feed and oil. As for China's exports to Kazakhstan, one of the firmly established niches has become fruit trade. Since May every year, peaches, grapes, apples, apricots, pears, melons, plums, watermelons are sent in large batches. The factory area is 80,000 square meters and consists of two parts. In 2013, the amount of export goods amounted to $2.3 billion. We export to Russia and 5 countries of Central Asia. The initiative on the revival of the ancient trade route and the creation of special zones of cooperation along it in 2013 was announced by President Xi Jinping of China. The strategic importance of this idea for all interested states is already starting to be clearly seen. Last year, the growth of trade turnover between China and Kazakhstan amounted to 30%.